Dollar waiting on a dime over there. Let's go.
Good morning. Welcome to the October 14th, 2022 Board of Supervisors meeting. I'm going to start off calling the meeting to order. Ask Craig Slay, would you pray for us, Craig?
Let's pray. Father, this is a beautiful day you've given us today. We are rejoicing, we're glad in it, Father. We thank you for your presence here with us. Without you, Father, we can't do anything. We can't accomplish anything. There's no outcome that is worthy, Father. So we invoke your presence here with us and your help to these gentlemen, Lord, to have the wisdom they need. Father, we know we can count on you because you're good and faithful and loving and kind and merciful and graceful, all of which we don't deserve. And so, Father, we thank you for that. I pray, Father, that as we consider the business of the county today, we'll do it in a way that pleases you. And, Father, we'll remember that the freedoms we enjoy, the safety that we enjoy, Father, is purchased with a high price. I pray for those that deliver every day, that sacrifice every day. I pray that you bring them home safely in Christ's name.
Amen. All right, we'll
Hey,
start
Craig.
with, sir, we'll start off with our public comments. We have Guy Warning. Guy, you people that are in attendance, if it appears we're rushing through, we're trying to be efficient. It's a Good Friday. It's a beautiful day. Our road department has a lot of work that they want to try to get finished today. Our EOC, our sheriff, all of them are wanting to get out in the field and get things accomplished. So help me go through this the most efficient way we can. All right, come on. Oh, Guy, you still coming?
Well, we are gonna be real, quick, and, one thing, Paul's gonna hand out a complete proposal sheet here. And what I'd ask y'all to do is we got each one of y'all one of these, take it, look through it, any questions that may arise, call us. But what we did is did a cheat sheet, more or less, and kind of go through the differences in the coverage, the pricing, and our recommendations. So this is gonna streamline it and make it a lot quicker right here. This has been a different year. The companies we've been with for quite some time pulled out of the marketplace. Nothing to do with Rankin County as a whole. They're not renewing, they're not offering a renewal. And that's the automobile, general liability, as well as the property. However, I will say y'all have done an outstanding job picking agents to work on this account. Paul's done a great job by a relationship with a company by the name of Travelers. Gil Jackson and Paul goes back a long way. It was sort of an awkward meeting, but I want to tell y'all real briefly how this happened. We had different agents, every one of your agents, with Gil Jackson, the Travelers underwriter, in our office, and we had a great meeting. And they come through with some great pricing. So real briefly, let's just go through it. You look at it, and any questions you have, stop us. And then when you have time to look through this, if you have any questions, you're welcome to call us. Travelers is the company we recommend on the renewal portion for the property. The property went up over $8 million. The renewal pricing is $317,021. The actual rate came down.
That's good.
Okay, so Travelers is really doing good so far. Now, one thing that has changed, and this is the biggest thing that has changed, is the deductible. Travelers, as well as every other company out there today, has put a wind-hail deductible due to us being as close as we are to the Gulf, and it's $100,000. We're working on, with Stephen Wallace Insurance Associates, a buy-down on that. We do not have it yet, but we're working on that. If we come up with something there, great. If we don't, this is still an outstanding price. Paul, you jump in anything?
Our next price was like $500,000 more and a higher deductible. So this is a good deal. The one thing that they're gonna require inspections of the towers, because we include the towers under the property. So, and that's fine. I mean, we should inspect them every few years anyway.
Have you already got somebody do that?
We're talking to Bill Roberts, trying to come up with somebody, and we're already on top of that, so we'll check on that and help you with that. The next part is the automobile coverage. Travelers is who we recommend on it. Outstanding prices. We got 11 more units. We did move the DA's vehicles back to over here with us where they have been for years. They broke them out. But they're anywhere.
One of the things, that just real quick, so I put on those notes, the state of Mississippi, experience-wise, on commercial auto liability, I put it down there for, they publish this on the Department of Insurance website. So this is the percentage of claims that they're having, 67%, 75%, 77%, 78%. That's why commercial auto has gone up over the years. To the tune it has, but so Travelers just kept y'all's price.
But if you'll look, you paid 405 last year. This year's renewal's 380. So Travelers is still doing real well.
Wasn't there a catch there?
The blue light, the blue
Yeah,
light.
right.
If you'll remember, FCCI's sales pitch to us did not recognize that, but after the first renewal, they started recognizing it. So everybody's the same way.
Okay.
They're going to recognize that and not pay the claim. I'm hurrying, Steve. All right, next part is the general liability.
I just want you to be efficient. Don't miss anything.
Next part is the general liability, which is not a lot of difference in coverages there at all. Nothing's really different. The biggest difference is 109,000 last year compared to 71,000 this year.
How did we do that?
Travelers came in and did a great job, I'll be honest with you.
No doubt.
Wow.
Volunteer fire. You're with a specialty program there. And I mean, we've talked about this and this is something Mr. Keith has checked and looked at and talked about but this is a outstanding program. There's no one else going to touch the program you're with here. To the point, for all of the vehicles running up down the road, fire trucks, it's $1,641.
Average rate.
I mean, you're not gonna save money on that, okay?
Well, they've hung in there with us too when we had that bad claim several years ago.
Yeah.
But even with that, the renewal last year, it is actually coming up, oh, is that a typo there? Should be.
341. 341.
Yeah, I'm sorry. 350,000 last year, it's 341,000 this year. So even with that, it's come down some. And then you'll see the total cost of the premiums at the very bottom.
Yeah, it's actually down from last year. The biggest difference is the deductible, from last year. I mean, we've got higher exposures, we've got more expenditures in our budget, which is what some of this is based off of with the general liability, so, but
This is sort of just a quick notes, if you wanted to look through this before not going through all of this. This is the biggest differences. But our recommendation definitely, as you can see, and I think y'all agree, is Travelers. Your agents did a great job. Mr. Keith and Wanda are wonderful to work with. So we're pleased to present this to the board.
Agents stay the same.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Agents all stay the
So
same.
far.
Yeah, and Paul, y'all done such a great job. I mean, in a year like this and then across the board, we're better off than we were.
Absolutely.
With other insurance are dropping us. Here, I got something for each one of y'all.
Thank you so much.
Yep, you can take one and give one to guy.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you
I thank y'all
for all your
letting us
hard
do
work.
it.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. Thanks, guy.
Yes, I want to get both though.
appreciate it, guys. It's an honor and privilege.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir, really thank you. All right. Next, on our public comment, it's Carl Franco. Are you ready, Mr. Franco?
I am, and I'll hurry along.
Well, I'm not asking you to hurry now. Let's just be,
There you are.
This should take long.
be efficient. I hope Brad Calhoun is watching this.
I know y'all, I ain't been in a while.
That's how government works,
Y'all got
Yeah.
what I look like. Okay, this is regarding, re-roofing for the Florence Public Library. We took bids Monday. We had two bidders that, provided bids within the required specification time limit. Low bid was Iron Rock Custom Homes, $55,875.62. And the only other bid received in time was Roofing Solutions, and they were $71,000. I've talked to Iron Rock, they're comfortable with their prices, and I would recommend awarding the re-roofing project to them. And if you so choose, and I can start getting their bonds and developing a construction contract for y'all's approval. Any questions y'all would have?
No, sir.
No.
I mean, this is just replacing shingles, and the only thing we are changing, the original design had felt, we're putting a more durable rubberized membrane underneath that. It's self-seals, so should prevent any leaks, is the idea of that.
Good.
And that's all I have, unless you have some questions.
Keith,
Sir.
do y'all go through it and, like we do with the other bids, and check everything before we actually,
Yes, sir.
are we just taking this?
Carl has put out the plan, they've responded, we've looked at them, and this is the bid we recommend. Yeah.
Okay, so are y'all asking us to vote on it?
It's on the agenda under
Okay.
your public comment
Okay.
section with potential action there, Steve, so y'all are set up to
Okay,
take
I see it.
action,
All right,
right? The record is reflecting that one of our supervisors has
Yeah.
recused himself from this.
right.
You guys are aware of why he would do that, and so that's why he's not in here dealing with this. Iron Rock is his eldest son's company,
Oh,
and so it's important that he not participate in any of this, no discussion, no
I got you.
deliberation.
that makes sense, all right.
All right?
All right.
So there's no ethical issue, that's been well addressed multiple times, but it's important that he not participate in any of this discussion, which is why he's not here.
All right.
One other thing, and if you choose to move forward, we will draft the contract to make sure we get all the bonds and all the other paperwork. So y'all haven't signed anything, this is just, we need that to get that information.
What do we have it on our agenda?
Where? It's under his.
Its potential action
Under
is
his.
under.
Public
it's under
comment.
Carl.
Oh, just right here,
Yeah.
okay, all
Yeah,
right.
it's there.
All right, I make a motion to approve.
All right, do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
All right, Jay made a motion, Daniel second. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I want to say the same thing. I'm seconding the motion based on Carl's recommendation.
Yeah, right.
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry to hold you up so long.
Make a motion to approve minutes.
got a second. Yeah,
All right,
sorry about that.
we got a motion by Jay, second by Daniel, approved minutes. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye. I'll make a motion to approve consent. Under item 5.
All right, I have a motion by Daniel to approve the consent agenda. Do we have a second? I think it's coming. I think it's, I'll second that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay,
Do you want to expand on that or just nay?
we good.
Okay. Mr.
I'm
Sullivan,
missing.
tax assessor.
Hang on, let me go back.
Okay, listen,
Maybe I may have missed something. I don't know. Hang on a second.
I wish you'd share with us there, Dave. I don't know what I missed either.
Who's standing in for John? Or are we just gonna act like he's here?
I'll go through and hit on some of those things. I don't mind doing it. I was trying to read back through it.
Yeah, I'm
I may have missed something on the. I don't see it. I don't see anything that stands out again.
If you'll allow me to
Alright.
kind of also explain that, the youth court received 3 additional grants. And they'll be receiving these grants over the next 3 and 4 years. And it enable them to go ahead and set up family drug treatment and expand their services they're offering for the youth court over there to include the entire family.
So we're good to go there?
We are, it will require an additional 5 to 8 people being hired. They'll be fully funded completely through the grant program. And with the understanding that once the grant's done, they're done.
So those folks are fine with moving their stuff out of there?
We're thinking about two different things there, Judge.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that is the space we're gonna be using to house the individuals.
Then what are we discussing?
The grant itself.
The 3 grants
The approvals of the grant.
Sorry.
that are on the consent agenda, just
Okay.
if you had any
All right,
questions.
under item 6, Mr. Sullivan's area, I'm gonna walk through some of these items and I'll make motions to do them, I guess. Mark, if I miss something, or say something improperly, if you would, just shut me down. But under item A, petitions to change the assessment as stated under item A. So I'll make a motion to take items A, B, and C together. Those are all tax sales, homestead exemption rolls,
I second.
and other property assessment rolls. Under items A, B, and C, make a motion to approve.
All right, Daniel makes a motion.
I'll
Mr.
second
Morrison
it. I'll
seconded
second
it. All right, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, carries.
All right, and then under, look at items D, E, and F is a couple conferences and some membership dues. So I'll make a motion to approve items D,
Second.
E, and F all together.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second by Mr. Morrison. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Ms. Bridget Herring.
We need to change that right there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Semi-annual.
2 minutes.
Oh,
My first item, I'm requesting authority to advertise for the semi-annual term bids for the unit system as listed. We're not doing them, we're doing them for 6 months this time.
Okay, all right.
Prices are so crazy, Jay. I think
What is
we're,
the modified for number 4? What is that about?
I think it's pretty much what we've been using, it's just, it has the stone aggregate and the, liquid asphalt emulsion. I'm acting like I know what I'm talking about. Help me out there.
It's a different emulsion in the design of the microsurfacing, and so the modified is just, it's got the E-Flex.
Oh, okay.
The liquid in it is different, so there's 2 types of, microsurfacing.
All right. I make motion approved.
I got a second?
Second.
Okay. We got a motion and a second by Mr. Morrison. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. And my second item is authority to request proposals for our pest control services for the county buildings.
Motion approved.
Second.
All right. Got a motion by Jay, second by Daniel. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Brad had texted me, so take me a little more time to be sure I'm diligent with these motions.
Okay, yeah. Well, I will.
But that's Mr. Captain, you know what I'm saying, so I mean.
Well, we'll try. Let's see, Mike Harrison says something about District 4. Hold on, Mike. You may not even need, it's District 4 here. Oh, never mind. Yeah, go ahead.
Comcast approval permit of
Yeah,
Hillcrest and Ranch Place, District 4.
all right, that's my district. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right.
Thank you.
Motion by myself, second by Morrison. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes. Mr. Slay.
Mr. Slay.
this is where it has a chance to get too slow, Steve, so you may have to ride her just a little bit, okay?
Oh, we just set public hearing.
That's right. Those first 2 were to set public hearings. They're on different dates, so we'll take those separately. The first
So
is
I'll make
to
a
set
motion to
public hearing.
approve, or set the public, well, that's your area, I'm sorry. I thought reading,
No,
I
it's
was reading,
fine.
I was reading District 2 for some reason.
I make a
My eyes are
motion to
messed
set
up.
the public hearing,
November 3 at 9.
huh?
Yep. The first item A is your district's
Right.
budget, November 3 at 9 a.m. Nuisance property consideration.
Make
So
a motion.
that's a motion on that, yeah.
Yeah.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, Mr. Morrison, second by Daniel. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item B is a District 3 parcel. We're setting a public hearing for Stephen and Olivia Nieberg nuisance property, that's Shell Oil Road, December 1/9.
I'll make that motion for Mr. Calhoun to set the public hearing.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second by same parties, and Mr. Morrison on the back end. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. President, item C is authority of the county coroner to handle the cremation of an unclaimed body. It's pursuant to our indigent cremation policy, which authorizes the coroner to work directly with the local funeral home to provide cremation services, and then we would issue a check in recognition of that work, that service. And so I would ask for a motion to authorize the coroner to handle those unclaimed remains in that manner.
I make a motion. Approve.
All right, Mr. Morrison makes a motion, Jay Bishop second. Any other discussion? I do have, what do they do on this type thing with the ashes?
Yes, sir. They obviously put them in a receptacle.
Yeah.
My understanding is that they return those to the coroner, and that we, through the Chancery Clerk's office, we actually have a location that we
do.
can place them. We do what we can under our policy, Steve, to handle those remains in a dignified manner, recognizing that it's a life loss. We do what we can.
It's not Boot Hill.
I think it's the cemetery.
Yeah.
It's at Hebron Hill.
Hebron.
Yes, sir. We actually have a small area
Area.
where if a family member were to later want to know how that was done, they can be directed to the actual location.
All right, we have motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Hicks?
Yes, sir. Good morning, gentlemen. Item A is approval of our final amended fiscal year 22 budget.
All right, got a motion by Jay, second by Daniel. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item B is acknowledgement of receipt from the DOR that Rankin County has complied with the criteria set forth in section 2739.329.2B of the Mississippi Code. This authorizes the county to expend the avails of 1 mil tax levy collected for the 22 roll year in any previous years under the above code sections.
I'll make a motion. Yeah, second.
All right, have a motion by Jay, second by Daniel. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item C is authority to issue the check from general county funds to the state treasurer in the amount of $1,869,100 for Rankin County's contribution to State Aid Project 6119M, which was awarded September 6th of 22.
Which one is that? Just out of my.
That was one that we
Shell
did
Oil
that
and,
2 million for.
Yeah, that's the
Shell
one
Oil and 471.
We had two of them. It was short money.
Yeah, that one's got Shell and
Oh.
Old Highway 471.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
We weren't all sold on them.
All right. Yeah. Did somebody make a motion?
Not yet.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion. I'll second it. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't know how we don't do this. If we don't do it, we're gonna, I mean, I don't know.
Well, we talked
Nate.
about cutting it back to what.
Okay, well, hold up then.
So you're
All
voting?
right with me.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
We're-
Hey, I guess we got one more vote to make.
no,
We
we're
done?
all up.
Huh?
Well,
I
me
thought-
and James voted yes, Jay
These
voted
two.
no, so it's
Oh,
up to you.
yeah,
Dang.
well, if y'all feel.
What other
if you
choice we
feel-
have?
If you
I
feel,
voted against it to start with, so I'm
I
not gonna vote to send the money over there.
What other choice we have?
Don't send the money over and cancel the project, I guess. But I mean,
Well-
honestly, the only choice today is it's tied, and I guess it tables it to the next meeting.
yeah,
Well, we'd have to adjust the motion, because the motion on the table is approved. So,
And it wouldn't be approved,
that's correct.
so you could,
You could table it, or you can put it on the agenda for next time.
or you gotta vote for it.
let's do that. Let's do it and let us all dig in a
I
little
would
bit.
ask Steve, if you will, alter your motion to remove it from the agenda for this consideration purposes, put it on the next agenda.
And,
Okay.
and realize this is just to authorize the release of the check. You've already approved
Right, I understand
Oh,
that.
we've
Okay.
already
I
approved it
understand.
then.
You've already approved it, this
Well,
is
ain't
just
got any
release the
choice
check.
then. We ain't got any choice then. We've already approved it.
It's your vote.
Well, I mean, we already approved
Yeah.
it, so no, it doesn't.
That's the way I feel. If
I-
the
I-
ship has sailed.
Huh? No, I'm saying it's already
Right.
done now.
We've
I mean,
already-
if we got an
yeah.
I'll
approved,
vote for
if we
it.
got an approved
I'll
project,
have
it's
to
already
vote
done.
for it now.
Okay, all right,
Reflect it's 3-1,
that's right.
okay?
All right.
I'm on a roll.
Hey, Jay, hey, Jay's just curveball. I mean, eventually he's gonna throw a fastball, you know, but he's living off speed
Wait
today.
for the next one.
All right.
All right.
Item D is related to Paul and Guy's earlier discussion, and it's the awarding of the county insurance renewal policies for the county property and equipment through Travelers. It's our auto insurance policy through Arthur J. Gallagher, and general liability insurance, fire services, and authority to issue those once we receive the invoices.
All right.
Motion approved.
We got a motion to approve. Do we have a second to go with Travelers?
I'm sorry.
Second on Travelers
Sorry,
Insurance.
second.
Okay, all right, I got a motion by Jay, second by Daniel. Any other discussion?
I got one question, not about this, but about our other insurance, like, all of our other insurances. When's those renewal days?
We're meeting next week on our healthcare insurance
Yeah.
with Mickey,
Yeah,
so I'll have an update.
so we just got that and our,
Law enforcement,
Dental
Or-
and eye and all.
are all those at the same time?
the Blue Cross, which has historically been Blue Cross, will be
Right, January?
probably December.
Okay,
It starts over in January.
right.
And the law enforcement starts in December, I think.
So what
it'll be
about the
addressed.
dental and vision, is that same time?
We're on extended contracts with those, and I think we have another year on the existing contract.
I got you, all right. But they do come up same time as health,
Yes, sir, they'll start in the January period.
all right?
All right, we need to take a vote. We've got the motion and second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, Mr. Ishii.
Probably thinks you want to bring that and stuff, doesn't it?
Good morning.
Yeah,
Hey, man,
I think we're
How are y'all?
maybe,
state do this?
No,
Oh,
sir, the
Lord.
state has not pulled the trigger yet.
Let's don't then.
let's wait.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question.
Go ahead, I wanna ask a question too.
We've got rain in the forecast, Sunday night. So this could be for 2 days.
So, talking
Do
with the
we-
Forestry Commission this morning and the National Weather Service, we do not have enough significant amount of rain in the forecast over the next 31 days. We're that dry.
I know it's dry.
I talked to them just this morning, right before I walked in, just to make sure we were all on the same page, and we are. But we did do some exceptions to the burn ban. The exceptions are the Mississippi Forestry Commission, certified burn managers, and your commercial contractors. We did add that back in to the burn ban. The only thing that we did not do was your agricultural burns. And I have talked to a couple of them over the last couple of days, and they are aware of the problem, that it's so dry that they're not even gonna, make an attempt right now to even try to burn their fields off.
But Brett, some of them will.
This is
Some of them will, and I know, I
my
know some of them
thought.
will.
My thought, and it's not as vice president or anything, just an individual. I would like to monitor it and react when the state makes their decision.
Okay?
Does that give you heartburn? Not really, not a
No.
whole lot,
No, sir. I
because
mean,
you know, I'm gonna
that's
say
your-
that.
That's y'all's decision.
And the fire will be at my place. But, there's so,
So can we go ahead and make the motion now, so when the state does put theirs in effect, that we'll automatically?
If the state does theirs, then we automatically fall under that, we don't have to do
We
nothing.
don't have to do anything. If the state will declare the ban statewide or in our area, that covers it. There's nothing for you to do at that point.
Brett, can
I
you,
thought that's kinda what we usually do.
Well, typically, no, we've done our own individual burn
Yeah.
bans in the past.
We hear about it.
Yeah, we talked several about it too.
Yeah.
I would say that those have been somewhat reactionary in the past. We've had incidents
Yeah,
where we've had fires get out of control and you guys respond. I don't know that we've had anything, has anything really gotten out of control?
We had one up off of Pisgah Road week before last.
how many acres were involved, you think?
It wasn't that many acres, it was a house and a barn that was involved.
Oh, yeah, I know about that.
Have we
That,
had any of those, like, road fires, you know, how they usually start?
We've had some small stuff.
Dragon chain. So, I mean, that's.
I'm kind of with Steve on that deal, cause we're gonna catch it, and I'd kinda like to see what if we, well, you said we don't have to do anything, we
No,
just follow
if
suit.
the state declares the ban and makes it statewide, we're covered.
Or
if the
region, I mean, if
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 it's
they
region,
declare
yes,
them center, the middle of Mississippi,
I've had numerous phone calls, people asking, text message thing, so they're asking, because but they're being cautious, but they're asking, making sure they're not in some kind of violation.
Right.
So, but what I've been telling them is use your common sense, don't go decide you're gonna burn off your wood land, and they said, no, we just wanna make sure.
do we have a motion to table it? Can we do that?
We don't have to do anything.
We don't have to do anything.
Okay.
You can ask for a motion, no motion, and it dies.
All right, I'm asking for a motion. Okay, let's move on. Thank you, Brett. I didn't mean to waste your time, but I know we had to cover that.
Couple of things.
All right, do we have reason?
If the board would recognize Mr. Word, Mike Word.
Oh, here comes the old curveball. Yes, sir. Hey, I don't know that you make new at this point. Calhoun text him and then.
I'll try to sum this up as quick as I can. It's going to cost a little money. About 8 to 12 weeks ago, we were having issues with our microwaves at Crossroads. A lot of work's been done on that to try to figure out what it is. They're just super unstable. Our guys have been going out there to let folks in to check them and this, that, and the other. Mr. Ishii was out, I guess probably 4 or 5 weeks ago to let somebody in. Found the remains of a buzzard at the bottom of the tower. He called me, we got to talking about it. Lance Cooper brought our drone out. We flew the drone, saw what appeared to us to be bullet holes inside of our dishes. Called the sheriff's department, got their big drone out, which has got a way better camera than ours. And we have bullet holes in both dishes.
We certainly don't want a bullet hole in our digit.
Dishes. So, at any rate,
Yeah. Wow.
it's unstable, and that's a huge hole when it goes down. We've got the quote in just the other day, the turnkey quote. It's going to cover everything. I just want to let you guys know, it's $78,000.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow, I'm just
We can
curiosity,
patch it.
this,
We can just patch it.
how off the
can't we?
ground is this thing they shot?
257 feet,
So it wasn't done.
according to the drone.
It wasn't done accidental.
Well, you're shooting at a buzzard, it sounded like.
I would imagine it was
Yeah.
somebody shooting at a buzzard.
Somebody shooting a buzzard.
Yes,
And
sir.
we are working with our insurance carrier to cover the cost.
You are?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So we need to vote on that then, or?
I just wanted to let you guys
Well,
know
where, I think.
before y'all saw in the coming weeks,
Gotcha.
$78,000. Good Lord, Word, you couldn't at least come in here and say, hey, I'm fixing to go spend $78,000. That's what I just wanted
That's
to do.
gonna
Just
wrap your budget up pretty tight, huh?
give you guys a heads up, so.
All right,
All right.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Word. All right. Have no need for executive.
No, sir. I do have one matter just to inform the board about that affects one of our items of litigation that the board will allow me just to give you a quick update.
Oh, right now, or?
Yes, sir. I
Okay,
can.
sure.
Hey, if this deal I talked to you about yesterday, on that, can we do this in open meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yes, sir.
about that in just a second. We'll take just a second.
We asked for and received written confirmation from the Mississippi Department of Revenue concerning some of the claims that have been pending in the Gulf South pipeline lawsuit. There are arguments, there have been arguments among the parties to that litigation, including the Department of Revenue, as to whether or not some really old assessments were done correctly by both Gulf South and by the Department of Revenue as it relates to gas that has been stored in the cavern out in Flowood on Airport Road. And the issue is that until the litigation was started, we could not get straight answers out of Gulf South about whose gas it is and how much is it. And so we learned after the lawsuit was filed, they finally came to the table and said, for some of your old back tax years that you're claiming, we didn't have any customers. It's the first time we've heard this. But for 3 tax years, 14, 15, and 16, all of the gas that was in Flowood in the cavern belonged to us, 2014, 15, and 16. And so that changed the entire dynamics, because your tax assessor and myself have been targeting the customers of Gulf South for those costs. And our assumption was that Gulf South maintains that cavern to hold customer gas, not its own gas, okay? So they finally educated us, and then we went through a series of conversations, negotiations. Well, tell us what you told the Department of Revenue you were holding there for those tax years. What did you tell them? And so we were able finally, with Gulf South's participation finally, we got DOR to finally release the documentation so we could at least look at it and see what did they report. And we wanted to do a comparison. What are they telling their shareholders they have, and what are they telling the Department of Revenue they have? And so finally we got an opportunity to do that. The truth of the matter is, it's a very confusing thing. This whole deal about natural gas stored in an underground cavern is a mystifying process, and it's very difficult to figure it out. The volumes shift, change, adjust with the markets. The calculations of value changes, not just every day, every minute as the market fluctuates. And so there's some difficulty there getting a real handle on where things stand at any particular moment in time. But we finally got to a point, and this is all leading up to something that I think is important for us. We felt like the only way that we could satisfy you guys, myself, your tax assessor's office, importantly, the state auditor's office, that we had collected what the citizens of Rankin County were entitled to receive in personal property tax from this company, that in 14, 15, and 16, they both reported accurately and it was assessed accurately according to the Department of Revenue. And so I have now, finally, dated October the 12th, a letter signed by Jeff Foreman at the Department of Revenue in his capacity as the Director of Exemptions and Public Utilities Bureau, confirming in writing that what was reported to them by Gulf South for 14, 15, and 16, and what was assessed and collected and then remitted ultimately to Rankin County is accurate. So we can put that to bed, 14, 15, 16. I've not said a word to you about later dates, because that is still an ongoing subject of the litigation. This doesn't resolve the litigation. This doesn't end the lawsuit. We're still proceeding. Today, I still assert to you guys, Gulf South, are not adequately reporting who their customers are and how much gas they're holding for each customer as of January 1 of any individual tax year. They still will not give us that data. And so my intention is we will keep litigating that issue until we get an answer, one way or the other, about that, and they start providing adequate information about their customers and about the amount of stored gas that they hold for each customer as of January 1 of each year. Until we get there, I don't intend for us to stop. You guys may have a different opinion about that, but that's what I'm doing until told otherwise, or till a court tells us otherwise. We're gonna keep pushing that. But I did want you to know that at least those 3 oldest tax years, we have a confirmation in writing from DOR that we got what we were entitled to. And so we can put those 3 tax years to bed and focus now just on 17 through 21, which is still an issue.
But
So
shouldn't
Craig-
shouldn't 17 through 21 be similar?
I would think it should go down.
No.
If they changed and it was their customer gas,
Yeah.
not theirs, their
Here-
remittance
Got it.
should
So-
be less.
So here's
That
how
should be
that
your
works.
baseline, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they've established your
Yeah,
baseline
so,
for you.
so what has been established in the lawsuit? Now, don't be confused over how this 14 through 16 relates to later tax years. The entire world changed in 17 because the federal government told pipeline companies, all pipeline companies, including Gulf South, you're not going to yourself own gas and participate in the market anymore. No, all you are is a transmitter of natural gas through a system. That's your job function. That's all you're eligible to do. And if we catch you holding your own gas and playing around in the market to manipulate prices, you're gonna have a big problem with the Department of Justice. Okay? So they got out of the Gulf South holding its own gas business altogether. That's how we got this issue with customers that surfaced beginning in 17.
So really, truly though, I mean, am I wrong in thinking that whatever they paid into the state should equal what the customer should be paying us over those past 4 years?
You would think, except that what they would tell you, Jay, is we're not gonna really tell you how big that cavern is. We're not gonna tell you how much we can hold in there. That's the problem.
Capacity.
We are totally at their mercy to know what's in there, whose it is, and how much was it on a date certain. We are totally at their mercy to do that, okay? That's just a system we have. I can't fix that
And
for you.
Department of Revenue
Yeah.
isn't pushing it.
Department of Revenue's
If
not
they have a
that
good
deal.
relationship, then
Yeah.
Now, listen to me.
And
Here's,
obviously they do.
here's where, this is why Rankin County is involved in this. If it's just Gulf South's gas in the cavern, they don't render, they don't talk to us about what's in there. They are a regulated utility. They talk only the Department of Revenue. So as long as if it's Gulf South stuff, they are talking to the Department of Revenue about what the tax is. And the Department of Revenue figures out what Rankin County gets. We're not involved. Customer gas, totally different deal. Here's why. If it's customer gas, what does Gulf South tell DOR? We don't have gas at the cavern. That's true. It's not their gas. And the customers don't know to talk to us about what's in that cavern, because most of them are out of state. So Rankin County, there's a hole there. How do we get the customers to pay Rankin County the appropriate personal property tax for the property, the gas, that is sitting in Rankin County? Do y'all see that if the customers are not rendering to us and DOR is not hearing anything from Gulf South about customers because it's not Gulf South's gas, there's a big empty hole of tax that's going unpaid. That's why we call it escape tax. So from 17 to 21, I need the customers to step up and come clean. Now here's the problem. The people that hold it, the warehouse man, Gulf South, refuses to tell me who they are and how much they have on a date certain. How am I supposed to go get it if I don't know who it is or how much they have? So they finally have come around after we sued them. They finally came around and said, well, here's the customer list. And here is a 3-page mathematic formula that your people over here in the tax assessor's office can do their best to calculate and figure out how much gas could the customer be holding if they held all that they're entitled to. Here's the formula where you can do it.
I just believe that you, others, can prove that Gulf South knows how much gas they have, because they're getting paid for it, either storing it, or they sold it to them, or, I mean, they have a relationship that they're not
Yep.
telling us about.
Absolutely, and
gotta
they
know what's
don't,
in there.
Yeah,
they don't dispute that they know that.
they just dispute that they gotta tell us.
They argue that they are not required to tell us because it is a trade secret. That's where they're headed with that, okay?
Well.
We know they know. You know why we know we know? They know. Is Mark still in here? Yeah. Because we've actually gone to the cavern and we've talked to their own people.
Yeah.
And it may not have been Mark, but it was somebody in our tax assessor's office that asked, you know how much customer gas is in here? Oh, yeah, we can tell you right to the minute.
Wow.
List of addresses they gave us, we sent renditions to, they, a large portion of that return, they were wrong, incorrect addresses.
Yep.
I mean, that's,
It's amazing. You gotta believe they know how to bill those customers
Yeah.
for those services.
Certainly they do.
I don't know why we're getting addresses that
I would like
are
to keep
crappy.
pursuing it. I mean, what we're looking at is a few years, but in 5 years, it's gonna be 5 more years.
That's correct.
And, I mean, at some point, hopefully, we can go, wow, look what we left on the table, or almost
Should
left.
have been
yes.
at Rankin County too, right behind.
That's what is standing
Our
right
good
now
friend.
before the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
That argument is that is the only thing, by the way. There are no merits on this case yet, because we never have gotten there. We got a Hines County Chancellor that said, I'm gonna keep.
And I think that's kind of where the line comes in after that. After we come back from the Supreme Court's ruling, then we just reassess where we're at.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
I mean,
Yep.
you let him make
Correct.
a rule, and then we can come back and say, all right, now, here's our plan.
I agree 100%. We need to be prepared to talk about the status of the litigation at any point y'all ready to talk about it. So it's just gonna keep going until I'm told, shut it down, or the Supreme Court tells me, you're all wet, you're wrong, you got it wrong.
I know this is a crazy question to ask you, and it's really pure speculation, but do you got a ballpark time on the Supreme Court ruling? I mean, could it be 5 years from now, 2 years from now?
No, sir. I think, Daniel, we'll know something before the middle of next year. We'll have an answer.
So within 6 months, we should get a ruling from the Supreme Court on
Yes, sir.
that, one way or the other.
Yes, sir.
Let's do that. Let's see what they have to
Right.
offer.
So we're working on, and what Mark just told you about, the notifications that we made to the customers, that actually it's sort of like a test that me and Christy Lewis came up with. We wanted to know just how responsive will the customers be. And so we just decided to take 2022, which, by the way, are not yet due and payable, and we sent out requests to the customers. We didn't talk about back taxes. We just sent out requests for them to tell us, what were you holding in the cavern January 1, 2022? So these are rendition forms that we use to get the customers to tell us, what were you holding? This is what Mark's telling you. A majority of the addresses given to us by Gulf South, magnanimously, as a show of good faith, a majority of the addresses are bad addresses for their own customers. What? I hope their billing, their accounts receivable is more on top of it than whoever we're dealing with.
Well, it's pretty clever.
They're gonna go broke. So that's an update on where we are.
Thank you.
We're doing everything we can, try to get y'all, to the end game here.
Yep.
A point of relief. It's definitely worth it. Guys, there are millions of dollars in unpaid personal property taxes at stake, and that's going back, and think about going forward.
Yep.
How many millions of dollars of escape tax is going to continue? And I would ask, is Gulf South being a good corporate citizen?
I have a question, and I know you're gonna be able to answer it easy, quick. Does the school don't have any claim at all to this?
Absolutely, they do.
Why don't we use it? Excuse me, camera, not use it. Why don't we go after this for our children and our schools?
Right. So, Steve, the school district actually does not have taxing authority. This is gonna sound really weird.
Right.
They have a budget process, and they know that the way that budget gets subscribed is through a millage assigned to the school district, guess who assigns that? You guys.
Yeah.
They give us a budget, we set a millage
We
commensurate
can't
with that.
collect it for the school.
We are
Because we
the
don't know what
only-
to get.
We are the only way to collect it.
I know.
Right?
So it's our kids that are suffering.
Yes, sir. I think
We
it's
don't, I mean,
important.
we don't even know that we've missed it. So, I mean, we want it bad. But the ones that may be hurting are the next generation.
There
in
is
our
no
schools.
question at all, and it is not,
And our people that pay a lot of tax money to run our schools could feel some relief if we were able to collect this from these people that are hiding it
Yes, sir.
from us.
I think it's fair to say, Steve, that when we set our millage, we assume on the front end that there will be tax dollars associated with that millage assessment that subscribes the school's budget. So there is a shortfall in revenue collection when a Gulf South fails to provide adequate data. There is a shortfall, and it affects the school district. It affects the city of Flowood. This cavern is sitting within the corporate boundaries of the city of Flowood. It affects Rankin County, which means it
Teacher
affects the
salaries.
road, general county, law enforcement. That there are multiple services, get this now, multiple services that are being provided to this cavern. Multiple.
Oh, yeah.
It sits next to the airport.
Yeah.
So it is right at ground zero as it relates to some mass casualty event. Guess what?
Yeah.
We've got multiple agencies in law enforcement that will respond to an incident at that cavern.
Yeah.
That is a service being provided. Why aren't they paying?
Well, I bet they drive our roads to get there.
No doubt.
All right. Thank you, Craig. I'm running close on time.
I got one thing real
Okay.
quick. Real
About
quick.
5 minutes.
Huh? It
We
wouldn't
got
be
5
that.
minutes.
You're locked time.
Yeah.
One thing, y'all remember, I don't know if you, I think you remember a while back, you know, we had a officer, and Brian, you can kick in here, you know more of the history than I do really, but Brian Grantham's grandfather was killed transporting some inmates way back in the day, Officer Biddle. Anyway, we talked about getting assigned something out on the highway, and that's not gonna work out as far as being on the highway. So we kind of backed up and punted, and looking at, I got involved in this yesterday, and I know Brian, several of them were on a joint text, but looking at doing a sign, more of a historical type sign, and it's gonna be put at the courthouse in his recognition, you know, recognizing him and everything. The only thing, there's not any money to pay for it. But we got a picture of one similar to it, and this one right here would run about $2,400. And immediately, probably, I don't know, 8 or more people kicked in and said, I'd donate. And so I kicked in and said the same thing. I guess what we're asking, Craig, you can tell me if it's even legal, if we as the board could donate some money, amount, and I know there's a couple, Brandon has said they're gonna look at talking to their board, if it's something we could do, that they'd help donate too. And actually, we'd come up with that sign, then we'd have something there to recognize that. So that's kind of what I was asking, plus and also put it out to anybody else that would like to donate. That's what they're trying to come up with, is the 24. They're estimating about 2,400. They said this particular sign they showed a picture of, that's what it ran. So that's all. Like I said, it's Brian Grantham's grandfather, way back in
I'll
the
be
day.
glad to look at at the ability of the county to provide funds for a historical marker like that, a recognition marker like that. I know we've been involved in some historical recognitions, the storm.
Wall here.
Yeah, right. So we'll look at how that could happen legally. I think it won't take me long.
I think multiple agencies would be willing to, and individuals. I mean, like I said, right off, I think we had $800 just like that. And that was, I think most of them just saying $100, so, I mean, I'd be willing to contribute extra if it need be. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look at it to make sure. And we can probably have that ready to talk about on the third. Jared, is there?
Oh, that'd be
is
great.
that timing work?
Joe, that's fine. I just got involved through some texts and started and, so anyway, I just want to throw that out.
Yep, good.
Okay.
All
Got
right.
my 5 minutes. I'm
Hey, you
done.
got it. We're good.
I got a couple minutes
We,
spare.
we have 2 minutes left if anybody has anything you wanna bring up.
I got one
Alright,
thing. One quick thing. Steve Whitman, AT&T contacted me yesterday afternoon. They're trying to get fiber into a new subdivision, but they need to go down about 500 feet, they said, down,
Fan Atlantic Circle.
yes. Yeah. So if y'all are with that,
Yes.
I've already talked to Steve.
Yeah.
I'd like to
You do.
make a motion, put that on the
Me
agenda.
too. Alright, let's add to the agenda. Make your motion, Jay.
It's an authorization for a permit to install fiber along Fannin Landing
Yes.
within a defined area. That's what the motion would be.
Alright, we have a second.
Second.
Alright, Mr. Morrison seconds it. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion approved.
Jay, is your motion that they would, they need to
Second.
submit the
They have.
paperwork? Okay.
I second.
Alright, motion now has been made and second by Jared. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Now, we will recess until November 3rd, 2022 at 9 a.m. if I get a motion on that. Alright, do I have a second?
Second.
Alright, Jared seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We are out of here before 10 o'clock.
Man, you
Cha-ching,
barely made it.
cha-ching. Hey,